Write the linear equation in slope-intercept form. So we want our final answer to look like it's in this form of y equals mx plus b. When we see that we're being asked to write something in slope-intercept form, what we want to think about is we want to think of solve for y. We want to get y by itself on one side of the equation because that's our sense of the slope intercept form. Notice the slope intercept form will always be y equals, and then on the other side, what we'll typically have is an x term, and we'll have the x term first, followed by the constant term. So that's what we're looking for when we're writing something in slope intercept form. So we can see with the equation that we're given here, everything is over here on the left side. And on the right side, we have this 0. And our goal is to get y by itself. We want to solve this thing for y. So let me come in here and highlight the y that we're going to solve for. Everything else needs to kick over to the other side of the equation. So let's be thinking about order of operations. We're going to work order of operations from the bottom up. We're going to start with the weakest connection and build our way up to the strongest one. So we're going to get that y by itself, first getting rid of anything that's connected by adding or subtracting. And so when we look to the y, and then we start looking around for adding or subtracting signs, because anything that's on the other side of an addition or subtraction sign is something that we're going to want to move first. So here I see a plus sign. 5x is on the other side of that. And here's a minus sign, so that 10 is on the other side of that one. So we're going to be working to get the 5x and this minus 10, we're going to be moving those to the other side of the equation first. So to move those, because they're connected by add or subtract, we need to use addition or subtraction, whichever is the one that's going to clear them out. Since this is a positive 5x, we're going to subtract 5x from both sides. And in the same step, because they're both connected by adding or subtracting, we can also work with the 10 at the same time. Notice here that the 10, it's minus 10. So in order for that to cancel, we're going to have to do plus 10. We always want to use the opposite operation. If this is positive, we're going to subtract. If it's negative, we're going to add. And so we need to do that on the other side of the equation as well. And it might be helpful just to kind of remind ourselves of the two sides of this equation. I'm just going to kind of put a dotted line here just to remind myself that there are two sides to this equation. The 0 is holding down the right side of the equation here. Now let's see what's going to cancel out. The 5x minus 5x cancel out. Negative 10 plus 10, those also cancel out. That leaves me with 7y, and it's a positive 7y. There's the plus sign in front. So because it's positive, I don't need to write the plus sign. I can just write the 7y, because if there's no sign showing, we know that it's positive. On the right side of the equation, we've brought over, so we have the negative 5x, and we have plus 10. Okay, so the y is almost alone. Let's get that highlighter back out and highlight that y again just to remind myself what I'm solving for. Now to get the y by itself, we still have something connected to the y. We have that 7 there, and that 7 is connected by multiplying. And since it's connected by multiplying, we're going to divide by 7. When we divide, we need to be sure that every term, everything that's connected by an add or subtract sign, gets divided by that 7. So both the negative 5x gets divided by 7, and the 10 also gets divided by 7. So these 7s are going to cancel out on the right or on the left side over here, and I'm just going to be left with my y. Now the right side isn't going to tidy up very well. We're going to have some fractions, but that's okay. Negative 5x divided by 7. Well, a negative divided by a positive is going to give me a negative. And 5/7, 5 over 7 doesn't simplify. we would just leave that as the fraction 5/7 x. This second part, I have a positive divided by a positive, so that's going to stay positive. And 10 divided by 7 doesn't divide evenly, and the fraction isn't going to simplify, so we're just going to leave it in fraction form, 10/7. Don't be tempted to change these to decimals because the decimals are going to be much uglier than the fractions are. So this would be our final answer. We have this in slope-intercept form. The y is by itself, the x term comes first, and the constant term follows it. So here would be our final answer.